Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of our First John study. And this is going to be the last little bit that we're going to do talking about love. In the last study, I gave you the assignment of paying attention, finding what was not loving. Let's look at the text and see what we found. So coming into chapter 2, down here, let me zoom in so you can see a little better. Down here, we have this statement, "Do not love the world or the things of the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him." We have this idea that if anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So, if you love the things of the world, you're not loving God. You can't love God. And he goes on and explains why. Because that which is in the world, the desires of the flesh, the desires of the eyes, the pride of life, is not from the Father. Okay. Now we continue on down to chapter 3, verse 10, and we have another occurrence. "By this it is evident who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not from God, nor is the one who does not love his brother." This one doesn't necessarily have a direct action of what is not loving. But he does point out that the people who do not love their brothers are not children of God. That's a very important distinction for us. Continuing on to verse 14, we know that we have passed out of death into life because we love the brothers. Whoever does not love abides in death. Here we see more of a result of not loving. Whoever does not love abides in death. Now, of course, we know that's spiritual death. But that's a pretty heavy load right there. If you're not showing love, if you're not being loving as this book describes, you're abiding in death. You're not abiding in life. Continuing on to chapter 16 and 17, "By this we know love, that he laid down his life for us. We ought to lay down our lives for our brother, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers. But if anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God's love abide in him?" That one doesn't strictly mention not love. But we see it implied with this rhetorical question. How does God's love abide in him? The implied answer is that it doesn't. So if anyone has the ability to do good, if they have the world's goods, and they see their brother in need, but they close their heart against him, then God's love isn't abiding in them. Now, of course, if you don't have the world's goods, you don't have anything to share. But he shows here the personal responsibility of love. He goes on and explains even more. "Little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and truth." So our love needs to be more than just words. It needs to be actions. That's a pretty cool lesson. Now we come to that big section in chapter 4 with lots of occurrences of love. Let's zoom in here to verse 8. "Anyone who does not love does not know God." Again, this is a result statement. If you're not showing love, you don't know God. You don't really, truly know God. He goes on, verse 10, "In this is love, not that we've loved God, but that he has loved us." So this word "not" here in this verse is more demonstrating a relationship. In this is love, not that we've loved God. So love is not defined by us. It's not defined by our love, but by God's love of us. Going on down here, verse 19 of chapter 4, "We love because he first loved us. If anyone says, 'I love God,' and hates his brother, he's a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen." That's a pretty complicated set of statements. If anyone says, "I love God," but he hates his brother, he's a liar. So we can't say that we love God if we hate our Christian brethren. For he who does not love his brother, who he has seen, cannot love God who he has not seen. So you want to prove your love for God? Well, love the brethren. That is all of the occurrences of not loving and examples of what is not loving. I hope that you found that particular part of our study interesting and helpful. For our next part of our study, we are going to be tackling the word lies, lies, or liars. And what I want you to do is I want you to find here the statements that are said to be lies. I will give you an example. Chapter 1, verse 10. If we say we have not sinned, we make him a liar. Simply underline for now the statements that are lies. If we say we have not sinned, we make him a liar. Now in this case, we're making God a liar, but we'll talk about that in greater depth in our next video. For now, you don't want to see my nose that close. For now, find those statements that are said to be lies or that make someone a liar, and we'll see you in the next video.